Whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Kristen Gaffel, and I did my research on is forced treatment of seriously mentally ill individuals justifiable. So basically how I found information, I used the detail given articles, and I used Google Scholar. Google Scholar was like a big one for me. I used that for basically all of my resources, and I used psych info. Basically, in order to make it simple, you really need to know what you're talking about. This was really confusing because everything was very opinionated, and nothing really was making sense throughout my research, so it was kind of difficult to find everything. Some keywords that I used was mentally ill patients, should they be forced treatment, and why is forcing treatment the answer? Basically, the problem with this is not enough people know about the situation. Like, an everyday conversation isn't like, oh, should mentally ill people be forced treatment? So a lot of people lack information about really what it's all about. Another problem is, like, do mentally ill people really understand? Nobody is in their mindset, so you really never know if they're really understanding what's going on. Drugs is only a temporarily, it's just temporarily, it's not permanent. And who should have a say in this? Should it be the parents? Should it be the doctors, the nurses? Like, who really has to say in like what the final thing is? Why does this? Why does this matter so much? It basically matters because people really should have their own control of their body. If you're forcing something on them, it's not really fair. What if it's unwanted and the person can't really tell you because they're mentally ill? So like, what if they don't really understand what's going on? Drugs is not natural, obviously. You should be able to live naturally through life. You shouldn't be drugged all the time. Research needs to be done on every little aspect. That's part of the problem. They kind of they're taking the easy way out. They're really just doing whatever they think that they need to do, but not enough research is really known to know what the real answer is. My first thoughts without research, so my personal opinion, it's violating their rights. If you tell someone they're crazy, they're gonna start believing that they're crazy, just like being told when you're younger, oh, don't do this, it's just gonna make you wanna do it more. So if you're telling them they're crazy, they're just gonna become crazy. And that's how I'm looking at it. Everyone has a right to say no. It's not really fair. Sorry, I switched back by accident. Okay, so my first yes resource, it was basically saying that society has responsibility over mentally ill, basically over everyone. If everyone is unable to make their own decisions, if the mentally ill can't make their own decisions, then the decisions need to be made for them. Convincing a patient is the best for them, so basically doctors are saying that with convincing them that it'll be the best decision for them. They lack awareness of their situation, so in order to do that, they should be forced treatment because they don't really know what's going on inside their head. So if they're not forced treatment and they're not fed drugs, then their episodes will worsen, and episodes like freak out. It will just get worse. This was really opinionated. Like I said, it was really hard to find a really yes side or a no side because it was basically based on like what certain people think or what certain hospitals think that they should be doing. My second yes resource was saying that mentally ill is too dangerous for society. They shouldn't really be around other people because it's dangerous. They're looked at as being a threat. Patients will eventually accept, so if you bug them enough, like, oh, we need to give you this, they'll eventually say, okay, like, you can give it to me. Which is why that they think it's justifiable, because they think if they bother them enough, they'll eventually give in to doing it. The caretakers of the people at the hospital feel responsible, so basically if a caretaker is taking care of a person and they're having an episode, they feel like they need to be giving them drugs because they're responsible for how they're acting and how they're living. But once again, the ill is too sick to care for themselves, so that's basically what these two resources said, that they can't make decisions for their own. They're too sick to even know what's going on, so it's not really fair. But then again, it's very opinionated, like I said, so it doesn't really justify really anything. My first no reference is forced drugging is not, they're basically saying forced drugging is not scientifically proven to be in someone's best nature, so even if you're giving them drugs and you think that they're getting better, it's not proven that they really are. it's not proven to be in their best interest. So you can drug them and think that they're getting better, but it's not. There's no evidence behind it. Long-term effects may happen if you're giving someone drugs every day, all the time. You never really know. Like, there hasn't been, in my references, there hasn't been a follow-up. Like, they haven't given someone drugs and then said, oh, like 3 years later, this is how they were acting. So there really, no long-term effects have been shown. No one knows if they can really make their own choices. Like I said, you're not in their minds, so you really don't know if they're really understanding what's going on or not. It's easier to feed them drugs and kind of get them out of the way than really make a relationship with them. One of the big problems in the no, or one of the big, I guess, positive things about the no articles was they're kind of saying that the doctors and the nurses are taking the easy way out. They're not giving the person a chance to really prove that they can control their body. My second no is the patient needs to be aware of the risks. So they're saying it's not justifiable because the patient's not aware of what's going on. It can cause discomfort, like the drugs can make them, like, there's risks to them, there's discomforts, and it's not really right, so it shouldn't be done. The procedure, if it is done, the procedure needs to be talked about with the patient. They need to be explained exactly what's going to happen, and permission from the patient should be given. It's kind of hard to say because you don't really know what they're thinking, you don't really know what's going on, so it's hard to say that they can really agree or disagree. So my thoughts after the research, I don't think it's justifiable at all. I think everybody has a right to their own body. They can deny treatment if they want, and they can accept it if they want. None of the references were really, like I said, they were all very opinionated. I think being fed drugs is just not a way to live. Like, you shouldn't have to take them in order to live a certain way. And the articles were very opinionated, so it was very hard to kind of see where I stand. So benefits to this debate is outsiders looking in are now informed with what mental patients go through. Those who may agree with forced treatment could possibly change their mind after reading a little bit about it, so kind of don't make a decision until you really know what you're talking about. And the downside was there really isn't enough supporting evidence. One side didn't really make it clear, the other side didn't really make it clear, and it's very opinionated. In the future, basically, more research should be done about this. They should kind of look into more of what the mentally ill want rather than the nurses and the doctors. So it really should be done before any of this is, like, laws are made or decisions and all that. And that's all.